vision really just came in my head. Like, it's crazy. So like you're in the forest and you're surrounded by trees and you're trying to get to a certain destination, right? So when you set your goals, it's almost like cutting those trees down so you can actually see your vision, right? You can actually see your destination, right? So now it's clear, you can see it, you can see that it's possible, you can see this is what I need to do to get there, and you can go and execute to get you to that big vision, man. What's up, fam? Before we get into today's episode, I want you to go check out our website at www.igotdreamspodcast.com and subscribe to our emailing list. We are creating the ultimate accountability group for entrepreneurs. So if you are an entrepreneur, if you are a business leader, if you are a dreamer, we want you to be a part of our group. All you got to do is go to www.igotdreamspodcast.com and subscribe to our emailing list, and we'll take it from there. This thing is going to be bigger than us, and we want you to be a part of it. Again, go to www.igotdreamspodcast.com and subscribe to our emailing list. Now, let's get back to the show. What's up, fam? Welcome to another episode of the I Got Dreams podcast, the ultimate accountability podcast, where our goal is to take entrepreneurs from A to B, from idea to execution. That is why we're here, to help you to just start, right? So before we jump into the episode, how was your week last week? You know, how was your week? If you're watching this on Instagram, if you're watching this on YouTube, like write in the comments or just DM me. Just let me know how your week was, man. I'm very interested in knowing, the goals that you're setting for yourself, and how you are accomplishing them. So just DM me, like let me know what's up. And for me personally, like my week was very busy, right? It was a busy week, but I got a lot of stuff done, and I learned that I really need to do something differently. Like I needed to be more prepared, and in order to be more prepared, I had to set goals, right? So that's what we're talking about today. We are talking about goal setting and why it is important to goal set. This is one thing I want you to always remember: a dream without a goal is just a wish. A dream without a goal is just a wish, right? And we're not out here just wishing. We're not out here really like to just be doing stuff on a whim, right? We want to be intentional about everything that we're doing, right? So in order to be intentional, we have to set goals, right? So why is goal setting important? I'm gonna give you a couple stats real quick, right? So 83% of people out there don't even have goals, right? 83%, 83% of people out there don't have goals. So if you have a goal, you are already better than 83% of the people out here in the world, right? If you just have one, you ain't gotta write it down. You can just say my goal is so 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 and so. You are already better than 83% of the people out there. Man, that's crazy, right? So another stat is 14% of people out there have goals, but they don't write it down. So if you have a goal and you write it down, you are better than 97% of the people out there just because you did those two things, right? Again, 83% of the people out there don't have goals. Only 14% of the people do have goals, but they don't write it down. So if you add 83 plus 14, that give you 97, right? So if you have a goal and just write it down on a piece of paper or whatever, wherever, like you are better than 97% of the people out there. Only 3% of people have goals and actually write it down. So if you have a goal and you write it down, you just put yourself in the top 3% of the people out here in the world. Man, how great are you? Just by having a goal and writing it down, you automatically put yourself in another different class, right? man, that is outstanding to me, man. Like that is crazy. Like you don't even have to do anything. You can just have the goal, write it down. You put yourself in the top 3% of the people out here in the world, man. So I'm encouraging you right now. If you have a goal right now in your mind, just grab out a piece of paper and write it down. Like do that right now. We're gonna make ourselves the top 3 percenters right now. So grab a piece of paper, write your goal down. Boom! Congratulations. We are in the 3% of the people in the United States, not in the United States, but in the world right now. Man, we up here. We have already leveled up, right? So here's another thing like that got me right. If you have a goal and you write it down, you are 42% more likely to accomplish that goal, right? You have a 42% chance of actually succeeding just by having the goal and writing it down. Now, I believe that other 58% or whatever percent it is, I believe that comes with execution, right? So if you just have the goal, if you write it down, you are 42% more likely to succeed just by having the goal, just by writing it down. You are already in the 3%, and you just gave yourself a 42% chance of succeeding. Man, we just leveled up in the first 5 minutes of this episode. We just entered into another class, right? Man, that is crazy. So again, you got to go grab a piece of paper, write it down. You are in the 3% of the people in the world, in the top 3% of the people in the world, and you just gave yourself a 42% a 42% chance of accomplishing that goal, man. Let's go already. So point number one of why setting goals is important is that you have a higher chance of succeeding just by writing your goals down, right? That was point number one. And we just figured out that we are top 3%ers of the world, right? And we just gave ourselves a 42% chance of succeeding just by writing our goals down on a piece of paper, right? Number two is that it keeps you focused, right? Having goals for your vision keeps you focused on that vision, right? In episode 3, we talked about vision and why having a vision is so important. Setting goals is important because it keeps you focused on that vision. And we don't ever want to lose sight on the vision. We always want to be intentional about the things that we're doing to help us get to that big vision, right? To help us get to that dream, to help us get to where we're going and where we want to be in this life. We do that by setting these goals, right? And number three, as to why goals are important is that things won't fall through the cracks, right? Like you won't be running around here like a chicken with your head cut off. Like it keeps you on track, right? You know exactly what you're doing. You know exactly when you need to do it, and you know exactly how to do it. So that is why it is important to goal set, right? That's why it is important to have goals. Is that number one, you'll have a higher chance of succeeding just by writing them down. Number two is that it'll keep you focused. And number three is things won't fall through the cracks, man. So again, go ahead, get a piece of paper, write your goal down. Boom, we're in 3%. We're in the 3% the top 3% in the world. And we just gave ourselves a 42% chance of actually succeeding, right? And now we're more focused because we know exactly what we're going to do, and we won't allow things to fall through the cracks, right? So those are the three things as to why goal setting is important, right? And so you might say, well, Mike, I got my piece of paper, I got my pencil ready, but to be honest, bro, I really don't know how to goal set. I don't know how to properly goal set. Don't worry, man, I got you. So a lot of you all probably have already heard this, but it's called like the SMART goals, right? And we're gonna go over them, right? So SMART is an acronym, and the S in SMART stands for specific. The M stands for measurable. The A stands for attainable. The R stands for realistic. And the T stands for timely, right? So you want to always remember that whenever you're setting goals. It's the SMART acronym. Make your goals specific, make it measurable, make it attainable, make it realistic, and make it timely, right? So we're going to walk through an example real quick, right? And so you can just get a clearer understanding of what SMART goals really are, right? So we're going to have a SMART goal. Our SMART goal is to start a business. Our SMART goal is to start a business. And then we're going to make that more specific, right? In order to make it more specific, we're going to say we want to start a business that provides clean water to elderly people, right? We're going to start a business that provides clean water to elderly people. You see instantly how instantly we just made our goal specific, right? So the goal was to start a business. We made it specific. We made it specific by talking about what kind of business we're going to start. So we want to start a business that provides clean water to elderly people. Now we have to make that goal measurable, right? So we made it specific. Now let's put some measures in place to see how we're going to reach that goal, right? So we're going to reach that goal. We're going to make it measurable by saying we will conduct research to find a local clean water supplier for 30 minutes a day until we find the right supplier, right? So now we just made our goal measurable because we gave it a time, right? Like we said that we're going to spend 30 minutes a day researching water suppliers in our town until we find the best one, right? So now I know I have a measure, right? The 30 minutes a day of research is my measure, right? So if I do 20 minutes a day, I I didn't exceed that measure, right? I didn't exceed my goal. If I did 29 minutes a day, I didn't reach that goal, right? If I did 30, I met that goal. If I did 35, I exceeded that goal, right? So that's how you make your goal measurable. So now our goal is specific and it's measurable. Now we have to make it attainable. So, how do we make our goal attainable, right? So, here we're going to say we're going to file for our LLC and obtain a business license, right? And so that's how we make our goal attainable is that we put again action steps. It's like what are the actions that we're going to do is we're going to file for our LLC and obtain our business license. So now our goal is specific, it's measurable, and now we have action, so it's attainable. And we have to ask ourselves: is that goal realistic? Is it realistic or not? Right? Can we actually find a water supplier, a local water supplier? Yes, we can do that. Right? Can we actually file for a LLC and obtain a business license? Yes, that's absolutely possible. So, yes, this is obtainable. This goal is not attainable, but realistic. This goal is realistic. And now, if you answer no to any of those questions, like if you're writing out your goal and like you're saying that like these things like are not realistic, then you just want to go back and make them more realistic. Maybe it's not possible for you to do research 30 minutes a day, right? Maybe you only have 10 minutes, right? And 10 minutes is more realistic than 30 minutes. Just giving an example, right? And so then you would change that 30 minutes to 10 minutes and make your goal more realistic, right? So you just change that no into a yes in order to make your goal realistic. But right now, ours is realistic. Our goal is realistic. Now, timely. So now we're going to put a deadline on our goal, right? As to when we're going to get to our goal, like when we're going to have it finished, when we're going to have it completed, when we're going to have this thing done, right? So for our goal, we're going to say, let's give ourselves a deadline of July 1st, 2024, right? So our deadline is January, I'll say July. Switch that. We're changing it to January 1st, 2024, right? That is our deadline to have this done, right? To have this goal done. So now our goal is gonna read. So when we put everything together, our SMART goal is to start a business that provides clean water to elderly people by conducting research to find a local clean water supplier for 30 minutes a day, file for our LLC, and obtain our business license by January 1st, 2024. That is how you set a goal. Man, so again, the SMART acronym, right, is to make your goal specific, make it measurable, make it attainable, make it realistic, and make it timely, right? I hope you got that. I'm gonna go over our goal one last time. So when we put everything together, our SMART goal is to start a business that provides clean water to elderly people by conducting research to find a local clean water supplier for 30 minutes a day, file for our LLC, and obtain our business license by January 1st, 2024. That's our SMART goal, y'all. And so when you're writing your goal down on a piece of paper or wherever you're keeping your goals are at, that's how I want you to write it down, right? So at the beginning of the episode, I told you to just get out a paper and write your goal down, right? If you did that, I want you to revise that goal with the SMART goal that I just put in mind. Now we had a goal and we just made it better. We had the goal and we just made it better. And so if you wrote down, just sticking with the example of starting a business, if you wrote that down of starting a business, use use the same framework, the SMART goal framework, and make your goal specific, make it measurable, make it attainable, make it realistic, and put a deadline on it, make it timely, right? So that is how you properly set your goals, right? And so you might be asking, so like, what will I gain from setting goals, right? What will I gain for setting goals? Well, for one, early in the show, I already told you, you will put yourself in the top 3% of the people in this world. Number two, you will give yourself a 42% chance of succeeding. And number three is that you will have a clear vision, right? When you set your goals, it makes your vision more clearer, right? And so having a clearer vision and like having something like a destination where you can see, like that is going to give you like motivation to like want to go ahead and go to it. Like picture yourself in a forest, right? Like you're surrounded by a lot of trees, right? And you are trying to get to a destination. And this vision really just came in my head, like it's crazy. So like you're in the forest and you're surrounded by trees and you're trying to get to a certain destination, right? So when you set your goals, it's almost like cutting those trees down so you can actually see your vision, right? You can actually see your destination, right? So now it's clear, you can see it, you can see that it's possible, you can see this is what I need to do to get there, and you can go and execute to get you to that big vision, man. And so that's why goal setting is important, and that's what you will gain from actually goal setting. And so here's what I want you to do. I want you to ask yourself, am I willing to do the work? Am I willing to do the work that it takes to actually get to my vision, to actually make what I say happen, to actually reach my dreams, right? Am I willing to do the work? Part of doing the work is goals setting, right? So when this episode is over, I really want you to do a deep dive on how, like, on setting your goals for your business. Like, set your goals for your business, and if you need help, feel free to DM me. Feel free to reach out to me. I'll be more willing to help. You can find me at www.igotdreamspodcast.com. You can find me on social media at igotdreamspodcast.com and I Got Dreams Podcast everywhere. And just say, hey, Mike, I watched the goal setting episode. I love what you said, bro. I need some help setting my goals. And man, we can jump on a call and get you squared away, man. Hey, again, this is the ultimate accountability podcast, right? And so when we're on these calls and we're setting these goals, that's not going to be the only call that we have, right? I'm going to constantly check in and hold you accountable to these goals, right? And so that's what it's all about. And so now I have a couple of questions that came in, just from guests and other entrepreneurs that had questions about goal settings, right? So question number one is, how do you stay motivated? How do you stay motivated? So I wouldn't necessarily focus on the motivation or staying motivated, but one thing I want you to know is that when motivation runs out, that's when discipline kicks in. So you have to have discipline. Like when your motivation runs out, your discipline kicks in. And so when you when you continue to do the thing even though you don't feel like it, like that's when you're creating the habit to keep going, creating the habit to push through, and then eventually that motivation will actually come back to you. And like but the thing for you that you need to do is keep going. You need to be disciplined and you need to be consistent. You need to keep going. Like don't stop, because let's be real, man. We're humans, right? We are humans, and sometimes like we just don't feel like doing things. Like trust me, I understand it, I get it, but again, we have a goal, we have a vision. Are you willing to do what it takes to get you to your goal? Are you willing to do what it takes to get you to your vision? Are you willing to do what it takes to make your dreams a reality, right? And so those are the type of questions you have to really ask yourself when you feel like your motivation is fleeting, or you feel like you just don't want to do anything. Like, is it really worth it to you? Is it really worth it to you? Like, you might not be seeing the results that you want to right now. Like, you might not be seeing, like, that you're getting closer to your vision. So you might be feeling like, a little defeated. Like, I get it, bro. Like, I get it. But the Bible also tells us, like, do not despise small beginnings. Do not despise small beginnings. Even though you're starting out small right now, you might not be getting any traction. You might not be getting any followers. You might not be getting any support. Like, you still gotta keep going, right? Like, you still gotta get up, do the work, and make things happen. And eventually, those things will come. Like, if that is your focus, you are already starting off on the wrong path, right? Your focus should really be for me to become a better person, for me to be glorifying God, and for me to set a path that's going to set my family straight, or whatever. Like, but if your goal is to just gain more followers and more listeners, or whatever it is to just people please, it's not even gonna work for you. It's not gonna work for you, bro. It's not gonna work for you, sis. Like, you have to have like something greater than you, because when you have that thing, when you have that thing that's bigger than you in on the inside of you, like that's what's gonna keep you going, right? And like, you've heard me say a number of times, like, this podcast is bigger than me. That's why I keep showing up. That's why I keep setting these goals. That's why I keep pushing, because it's not about me, right? I'm just a vessel. I'm just a vessel, right? And I'm being used. And so whenever I don't feel motivated to do something, like, it's not a thing. I allow that discipline to kick in, man. Like, yes, I might give myself some time. I might, think about it maybe like a minute too much longer. But here's the thing: I still jump out there and do it. You still gotta jump out there and do it, man. If you're doing it for the right reasons, like, you will find a way to make it happen. Like, just do it for the right reasons, right? So that's my thoughts on motivation. Like, when your motivation runs out, your discipline kicks in, and whether you have motivation or not, your job is to keep going. Your job is to keep making a difference. Your job is to reach that dream that you have, right? And so, question number two: is there any software I can use to help me stay on track with my goals? Perfect question, right? So, how I was doing my goals, right? And this is what my wife is so dope, right? When I was doing my goals, I was just putting them in the notes app. Like I was like to keep me on track, I would create a to-do list on a notes app. But then I was getting like really busy, like heavily busy, and stuff was like just falling through the cracks, right? And so like my wife jumped in. She was like, let's use like she gave me two options. She was like, it's these like softwares that'll help you like stay on track like with your goals and like you'll be more organized, right? And so we chose this software called Monday.com, and they really helped me to stay on track. Like I love that app. Like anything I gotta do or whatnot, I put it in Monday and like I look at it every single day to keep me on track with my task. And so like now I don't feel like I'm forgetting things. I don't feel like I'm rushing. I don't feel like, waking up in the middle of the night and like, oh, I forgot to do this or I forgot to do that. No, I got a task like right now. I have software that keeps me on track. And man, shout out to my wife for actually doing that for me. Babe, I love you. Like, yeah. So, question number 3: how often should I revisit my goals? Daily. Absolutely daily. Like I revisit my goals daily, and like that's what keeps me focused on the vision, right? And so, and it also keeps me intentional, right? So I need to do certain things in order to keep going. And so revisiting my goals every single day keeps me on track, right? And it also tells me what changes I need to make. So if I need to do something different, like how different like do I need to do them? Like am I on track still? Like how do I need to get back on track if I'm off? So revisiting those goals daily actually help me with that because I don't want to wait to the end of the week, look at my goals and be like, oh man, like I'm way off. I want to look at them like if it's a Monday, I want to look at them on Tuesday and say, okay, Monday I was off like this little bit. Let me adjust for Tuesday and do the same thing for Wednesday. So like I just adjust along the way versus waiting from Monday to Friday and like, oh, I was off like a lot instead of being off a little. And so that's why I would say revisit your goals every single day to help you keep on track. Man, this has been another dope episode of the I Got Dreams podcast. Go out there and crush it again. Get a piece of paper out, write your goals out. Congratulations, we are in the top 3% of the people in the world. We have a 42% chance of actually succeeding our goals just because we wrote them down on a piece of paper. Boom, we already on the right track, right? And then we made our goals smart, right? We made them more specific, we made them measurable, we made them attainable, we made them realistic, and we set a deadline on them and made them timely, right? And so that's that's us improving, right? Now we have another step, in order to take us from A to B, in order to take us from idea to execution. But man, y'all have a blessed and wonderful day. I love you. Peace. Bam. Thank you for listening to this episode. I know you just received a lot of value. So look, here's what I want you to do now. Go to our social media platforms on YouTube, on Facebook, on Instagram, on TikTok at I Got Dreams Podcast everywhere and like, comment, subscribe to all those channels and let's continue the conversation on there. Look, I told you before, we are creating the ultimate accountability group for entrepreneurs and we want you to be a part of that group. So go ahead, like, comment, subscribe to our channels at I Got Dreams Podcast everywhere, and we'll see you there. Peace.